Hey guys, welcome to my third ever Reviewsday Tuesday. Today's pick is Lark and Termite by Jayne Anne Phillips. This book takes place over 4 days, so it's a very compact novel and it's got a lot of description, but it is absolutely beautiful, this book. It's 254 pages, so it's not exactly a long novel, but it is engaging and beautiful and interesting. So the novel takes place in 4 days in 2 very different time periods. It starts with Corporal Robert Leavitt, who on July 26, 1950, opens the novel as a soldier in the Korean War. He gets trapped in a tunnel trying to save some children during the massacre of Nonie. And I found this part of the novel, the flashbacks, so to speak, to his time during the war to be fascinating and engaging and, rivaling such authors as Mailer and Hemingway. I happen to be a fan of war novels, which is why I picked this one up, but it is not just a war novel. It skips forward 9 years and then goes to July 26th, 1959, to follow 2 children, Lark, who is 17 years old and on the verge of adulthood, and Termite, who is 9 years old and suffering from hydrocephaly and also possibly a severe form of autism. He's wheelchair-bound and very much unable to communicate and experience the world around him in the same way that the people around him do. But his sister Lark takes care of him and understands his needs and finds ways to communicate with him that are a little out of the ordinary. I really like the way this book represents the relationship between siblings, particularly between Lark and Termite's mother, Lola, and their aunt, Nonie, and also between Lark and Termite themselves. They have a unique sibling relationship that I found very engaging and interesting to read about. Even though Termite is mentally disabled, he has his own sections in this book where he narrates them, and I found this book very much like The Sound of Fury by William Faulkner. Termite's parts of the novel really do make it this kind of surreal, beautiful novel that can sets kind of apart from time, even though it's set specifically in 4 days in July in 1959. There's some supernatural elements to this novel that kind of weirded me out at first, because there's this ethereal social worker who shows up and then no one else sees him, and it's a little strange, but I found this novel to be grabbing and engaging, and oh my god, I've used that word a lot, but that's exactly what this book is. It is just can't put it down, try to read the whole thing in one day kind of novel. Some of the characters in the novel treat Termite's disability as a disability. They don't see him as having his own thoughts and feelings, and generally kind of treat him like a prop or a baby. Lark doesn't do that, and neither do some of the other characters in the novel, and I found that really interesting, and I found it like a really good representation of how disabled people are marginalized, especially in the 50s and 60s. There's also talk of depression and suicide and other medical conditions, and the costs of war and how they last for generations, and all these familial relationships getting entwined and relating back to each other, even going so far as to parallel Leavitt's time in the military and these children that he's saving at Nonie. And yes, there's quite a bit of violence and sex in it, but in general it was a very beautiful and tame novel, in my opinion. And not only that, but it treats the Korean War as this horrific real life event that it was. It's not glorifying the violence, it's not, ignoring the struggles of the rural populations that they were evacuating. It very much turns them into people and talks to them as actual characters rather than using the Korean refugees as props, which, props for that. This book really is a coming-of-age novel, although I'm hesitant to put that spin on it, because who's coming of age? Is it Lark, 17-year-old girl who suddenly finds herself basically a mother for her brother, or 21-year-old Corporal Leavitt in Korea having to face the war and grow up so fast? It's also a bit of a romance, although the romantic subplots are very minor and in general not romanticized in the way that most relationships are. They're treated as real, healthy relationships and aren't the focus of any character's motivation, really. I can read this book again and again, and that's why I love it. Every time I discover new little things about it that I love, new little passages that grip me and make me breathless, and just, God, that book. I highly suggest you pick one of these up at your local library or bookstore and take a look at it, because it is very, very good. If you enjoy Faulkner, if you enjoy Hemingway or Mailer, this is a combination of all of them, and just in itself entirely unique, and I loved it. And yeah, so pick up a copy. It's good. Read it.